Let's fucking go. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy. I am really ready to roll this morning because it is a Friday, boys and girls. Yes, it is. And joining me, of course, he's behind the scenes and occasionally get to see a shot of him now.
The snippet
Occasionally. That's been something new we've added. He might show himself. And that's Leo. Leo, how are you on this Friday, brother?
Doing pretty well, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. We got some things going on. We got our girls back in town. They had a game last night, I believe, and lost. Not good. They had 1-2 on the road prior to that, which was good, but we haven't been doing good at home. Our Phoenix Mercury girls trying to find that rhythm before the playoffs, and hopefully that starts tonight. That would be that'd be a nice thing. But we'll have a good time no matter what. And then tomorrow we are going to go to our second and last of the preseason game with the Cardinals. We're kind of looking forward to the season starting, things getting going. Shane Gillis is coming to town in December, my friend.
Nice. Hell yeah. You plan on going?
Got tickets already.
Hell yeah.
I saw that. I'm in, man.
That's dope.
I'm in. It's like first week of December. And it's at Phoenix Arena, so great place to see him.
Mm-hmm.
And the stage, I think, is going to be like in the center, which is even better.
Where you're kind of like surrounded.
Yeah, everybody will be surrounded, so that'll be kind of nice. He just walks around and nonchalantly makes you laugh. I don't know. Maybe he'll talk about this or things like this, like Cracker Barrel. So many people are talking about Cracker Barrel. I almost didn't want to throw this in this morning, but I do for a different reason. I don't understand the attacks on Cracker Barrel that their change is somehow woke. I don't know what that's about. I don't know what they're changing inside that would be considered woke. If they're not going to, I always thought the Cracker Barrel store inside was kind of nice to walk around and look and see some things. And
I agree.
they always had some things, and maybe you pick something up. But I mean, it's not like you went there to shop.
No, definitely.
But it was cool. It was all right. I haven't been to a Cracker Barrel in over a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like when people are going to complain about something, I always wonder, well, how often did you fucking go there in the first place? I just saw somebody else like, I'm not going to Home Depot. Really? How often did you go? They went a couple times a year. Yeah, Home Depot's really going to fucking miss you. At least they were honest. They only went a couple times a year. And I would say for Cracker Barrel, 2 to 3 times a year at most. At most.
That's generous.
Yeah. And a lot of times it was traveling.
Yeah, that's honestly the only time
on a travel. Like, well, like at least you know what you're going to get and you want to sit down. You didn't want fast food. Maybe you wanted something a little hearty. But if Cracker Barrel is struggling, and that's what I think the issue is, besides the fact that they don't know how to hire people to redo logos. If you take a look at this logo, so the new logo is like a barrel laying on its side, the most simplest form of a barrel. It's just so bad. But apparently that's what it's supposed to be. And just everything else is gone. I mean, I guess the barrel is not gone if it's on its side, and that's, I don't know. But they definitely removed the cracker.
No one can tell that's gonna be a barrel. Like
they're not gonna think of that right away, are they?
No, they're gonna think of they're copying Denny's or Golden Corral or something like that.
Do you want to be thought of as copying Golden Corral?
The Golden Corral even are they still in business?
I think so. I mean, I know the pandemic killed places like that. Anywhere where there was a buffet. There was no better place to go and get cheap steak, though.
That's a fact.
It
That's
wasn't.
a
It
fact.
wasn't good, but it was cheap. You like eating leather?
Yeah, honestly.
It was a little rough. So last night, Dawn and we had to go make a return, and we did. And so we were out and about. We're hungry. I'm trying to find some different places, some new places to try out. One of the places we've tried recently this past week is North Italia, which is over by Santan Village.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Very good. In fact, we went there twice because Dawn asked to go back. So we went there again. And the service was good. The food was good. It's nice Italian. We had a good experience, and it's on our list now.
Okay.
All right. So one of the other things I was looking for is how about I've still been looking and haven't found a good Mediterranean restaurant. I'm still on the hunt for that. And I couldn't find one. And then Abuelos. I always liked Abuelos. And the one in Chandler got closed.
Gotcha.
And when I lived in Toledo, they closed the one in Toledo. I don't know why they struggle because the food is actually good. I think it's more on the drink side, and that most of the Mexican restaurants that thrive also have a solid drink business, a good bar business. You know what I
here
mean?
in Arizona, at least you gotta.
Dude, it's that way in Ohio too.
The
That's
same
just
thing?
what is it. In fact, the alcohol is more important than the food to many of the places.
Unfortunately, yeah, you're
Yes, unfortunately. But a lot of times, what is most important most of the time is the food. And so Dawn and I was looking for a bar burger, is what I'll call it, like a good bar burger. And we haven't been eating the buns. Dawn's on her competition diet. I'm trying to get my shit together, so we're trying to be selective in what we eat,
Mhm.
but still a good bar burger. And I'm thinking, to me, a good bar burger is usually about a half a pound burger. And I don't need 2 patties. I just need 1 patty that's a half a pound. Nice half-pound burger. Or at least a third minimum,
Okay.
But I prefer making and more like a smash burger, like you would make at your house. You put it together, smash it. It's not perfectly round. It's just there. Got a little pink throughout there, juices overflowing it. That on a grill, that's a burger, man. That's a good bar burger. I looked for Chandler,
Mhm.
and the things that came up, I ended up picking a place called the Stillery. I don't know, are you familiar with the Stillery? The Stillery's in downtown Chandler. And there's another brewery that we like to go to there, but we've been to that brewery multiple times. And so, again, I'm trying to find something else. This was right near that area. And they had live music. It wasn't actually very busy on a Thursday night, but the place was really good looking. I mean, like it's fairly new, maybe, or not that old. And they had a nice stage. It was a nice place. But it turns out it's only really a good place if you're just going there to drink or you're going there for the music or to dance. It is, I would say, more of a country bar. They had a country performer there last night. But the burgers that we got were patties. That were frozen patties.
Gotcha.
And overdone. Well, Don's was supposed to be overdone. The cheese was probably whatever the cheapest cheese they could buy from
like Kraft cheese or whatever.
From wherever. Like, yeah, Kraft cheese is not even cheese. Yeah, bad cheese. Bad cheese. And we didn't, if we've been ordering a baked potato a lot, and we both ordered the fries well done. They didn't come well done. I don't know why that's a hard thing to done. And there were the crinkle fries. I don't know why some people think crinkle fries are cool, or maybe it was the shit they had when they were a kid, but that's not my favorite. But okay, as long as it's crispy, I'm going to be pretty good. And we only eat a handful of them anyways, like a small little, but you can barely tell we dented the fries, but it was mostly just timing, and that we're just going to get a taste of it. We're not going to ruin our diet over
Some fries.
mediocre fries
Yeah.
too. You know, that's not what we're going to do. But it just was. I left there and felt like, you know, that's a real shame that their food isn't better.
Mm-hmm.
Their queso, they had a queso dip. The queso wasn't bad. You couldn't add anything to it. You couldn't add chorizo to it. You couldn't add pico to it, which, why not? Why would you? That's such an easy thing. Doesn't make it harder to make, you know? You take a spoon, you spoon out some chorizo, and you throw it in the fucking middle. Warm it up. I don't know. Doesn't seem that hard. But some of the places like to serve you these chips that aren't tortilla chips. They're more of a pita type of chip or something.
Like bread?
Almost like it. It wasn't a tortilla chip. It wasn't a traditional tortilla chip. And even Nando's has like a weird thing that they're like, get that fucking shit out of here. We'll take the basket of the tortilla chips and we'll use that in the dip. Whatever these things are, this fried bread shit, we don't want it. I don't know what it is, but we don't want it.
I'm interested. I don't know what you're talking
But the thing is, just you're making it too hard. And again, what really mattered was your burger sucked. Because it was a really nice place. And if they had a decent burger, we'd go back. I can get a shitty burger like that anywhere. In fact, I can get a better burger and pay less. If I'm going to pay I'm not opposed to paying $17 to $19 for a burger. Okay. And that's what they were. But if I'm going to pay $17, $19 for a burger, I want a nice, thick, juicy burger. Just to make it's not that hard, right?
Yeah, I was about to say that's fair.
I don't know. But bring it all back to Cracker Barrel. If Cracker Barrel is struggling a little bit, how about you serve better food? You can keep your things that you're known for on the menu. Keep your sausage gravy and biscuits on the menu, but have some other things on there that are also healthier choices too. But it's mostly not. It's mostly comfort food. And I like diners. I owned a diner when I was young. I get it. But things are different now. And people do want healthier items now. They just do. I don't think the Cracker Barrel menu mostly is interesting to a lot of people anymore. I could be wrong, but I don't think so much. And the other reason that I haven't been back in a couple years is when I was doing the traveling back and moving from Arizona to Ohio. So maybe 3 years. So it was at least 2.5 years ago, something like that. When was moving, stopped at one. There was a dog involved at the time. We had a dog. They treated us like with the dog like shit. And the dog couldn't have been better behaved. And the dog was legally allowed to be there. You know what I mean? And it was the staff that was being assholes. Nobody around us was being an asshole. And the dog didn't bark at anybody. It didn't go after anybody. It didn't have its paws up on the table or anything. You know what I mean? It was just really weird. Just the way we were treated there. And I'm like, you're not that good. I'm just not going back. When you have mediocre food and then you add a bad experience on top of it, people just have too many choices today. Too many choices. And that's what I related our recent experience at Morton's. You're fucking Morton's. That's a name. Maybe some younger people don't know that name, but what they're going to think about that name today as they're being introduced to it, having never maybe been there before. You've never been to Morton's, have you?
I don't no idea what Morton's is.
Morton's is a steakhouse.
Gotcha.
And it is an old school, like Morton's brand, like salts and spices and stuff. You see Morton's?
Okay.
Yeah. So Morton's was huge. They were like the first, maybe they weren't the first, but they seemed like they were the first big restaurant chain that was a top level restaurant.
Gotcha.
You
Okay.
know, not Texas Roadhouse, high end,
I get
high
what you're
end.
saying. Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, that's what I'm talking about. And geez, they just should be better with their food. It's not hard. You're going to drop no less than a couple $100 there at a Morton's. Easy. That's what most of the steakhouses like that are going to be. And to serve people stuff that's out of a bag, it's like that's probably not good. Probably not good. That's not your best
Especially if you're
choice in
charging for
doing
that
this.
much money for that.
Yeah. It's and the same thing, like I said, with the Cracker Barrel. Why not focus on what gets people to come back? And I could be wrong, but good food. Doesn't good food make you come back?
100%. You get good food, bad service, you can kind of be like, all right, get bad food, good service. Same thing. I feel like sometimes people can kind of get used to like the service around some plate with like mediocre food. But you get good service, good food. People
Absolutely.
are coming back. People are gonna come back.
And that's bourbon steak for us. We love bourbon steak in Scottsdale. Now, Bourbon and Bones is also a favorite of ours. But occasionally, Bourbon and Bones will not get the steak done exactly the way that Dawn wants it, which I understand. You think that well done would be easy, and it's not. To get it that way, there are problems sometimes, but they always fix it, and their service is always at a 10 or about the. So since it's only occasionally,
Mhm.
and it's good once you get it, so it's good. So it's not like they didn't cook it right and then it didn't taste good. Then you're fucked. But if they fix it and take care of you, and the service is really good, you let that slide when it happens occasionally. But then the places like a Bourbon Steak,
Mhm.
where it's never happened yet, it'll happen eventually. But when it becomes very rare that they fuck
Fuck
up,
up. Yeah.
and you get the over the top service too, you're like, I want to be there because I don't want to deal with the hassles. And some people, I've been around people at restaurants that were with me or in my group that sometimes didn't like family members, people I was dating. So they didn't like that I would send food back or make a complaint or something. Oh, just eat it. No, I'm not just gonna fucking eat it. I'm paying for it. And then when I'm paying hundreds of dollars for it, I want it the way I want it.
That's
I,
fair.
I just do.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I'm not going to apologize to other people. They're like, if you're paying for it and you don't want to send it back and you want to eat it that way, you fucking do what you want. I'm not. But I'm not a jerk to the people. I'm very nice. I don't know why that's a surprise, but do you think I want them to take it and spit on it? I'm not going to be. Now, if it's multiple things fucked up, then eventually we're going to have to talk to a manager, see what the hell's going on. But that's again something different. But I'm not going to be an asshole when something needs corrected or something was missed or you ordered a certain side and they didn't bring it. Yeah, we didn't order that potato, but we did order the cream corn. Oh yeah, like just fix it.
Yeah.
That's all. And if they fix it and tastes good, you let it slide. But good food, it does to me. It does matter, even at places like this. Texas Roadhouse. I was never a huge fan of Texas Roadhouse, but I found a couple things on their menu that I really liked. And for those things, when I'm hungry for those things,
You'll go
and
to.
I'll go there.
Yeah.
That it's worth it. I like their filet medallions. So it's a nice filet, but it's already sliced up a little bit, and they put it over rice. And I usually have them do about half of the rice because I don't need a whole giant plate of rice. And get a salad. I can get a very healthy meal for me.
Mhm.
What I'm looking for there. They have a couple choices there that I like to make, and Longhorn, same kind of same kind of thing. But I don't know. Cracker Barrel, your issue isn't, and they're not listening to very well to people who are upset about this. Apparently, some people really care. I don't know. I don't really care, but I mostly don't care because I really don't. That's not a prominent place that I eat, but that mostly is because of the food.
Mhm.
I don't know. And it's not that I don't like eggs. I had eggs before we started this morning. I don't know. Just throwing it out there, but everybody's up in arms about Cracker Barrel. Just focus on the food. That's a great way to come back. Say you're making some changes to the menu. You know, add some protein pancakes. How hard is it to add some protein pancakes?
Not very hard.
Probably not very hard, but not a bad thing to have on there as a choice for people. So Gavin Newsom has gone full TDS, or his staff has. Who's ever running his social media? I don't know. They're just off the wall right now, mocking President Trump, and the left is loving it. They're absolutely loving it. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't bother me one bit because I think they're making a mistake. They're going in the wrong direction. Trump is not on the ballot next year, nor is he on the ballot in 28. If Newsom is going to run for president, he's not going to be running against Donald Trump. So I just think it's a dumb focus to do that. Why you want to focus on somebody that's not even going to be running? Why not focus on a guy that is in the Trump universe, like Marco Rubio, like Vice President J.D. Vance? Focus on them and target some attacks to them for supporting Trump's policies. It just seems like that would just be smarter, because then come campaign time, you could say, when you're truly in campaign time, you could say, these guys supported wholeheartedly. They never pushed back against Donald Trump. They supported everything he did. And if you want more of that, vote for them. If you want change, I'm going to be the change agent. I'm going to be the one to take us in a different direction to help with housing. Look, they said they were going to reduce food prices, and food prices haven't come down. Or, target some real things that you could legitimately have, at least make a case for, instead of you're not being for anything again, which is my main complaint. The Democrats are just against everything and for nothing. You're not coming out with any policies. Come out with some policies. Talk about the policies. Talk about how you would do something different and what policies you would implement, instead of just opposing Trump on immigration. Say, look, it was out of control. Other Democratic presidents have also, at different times, tried to address it, and things were out of control. We've had different attempts by Congress that have failed. Obama, you look at what Obama said about immigration when he was president. So look, it is an issue. And I'm not for what the Biden administration did for open borders. But here's how I propose sensible immigration reform. And do that. Tell us what you're not telling us anything that you're for or how you would do things differently. You're just saying Orange Man is bad. Well, the Orange Man is bad theme hasn't gotten you anywhere. I don't know why. And maybe it's dumb for us to even advise Democrats. I think it's only okay because they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it the right way. It's no different than I found in my business life over the years. that I could take 100 financial advisors when I was a financial advisor myself and had the supervisory licenses. I could take someone who's struggling as a financial advisor, making $60,000, $80,000 a year, and I could show them how to ramp up pretty quickly and make $250,000 a year or more. And this I'm talking about when $250,000 still felt like a lot of a lot of money to some people. So some years ago, over 15 years ago. And I never minded, I never worried about competition by helping people or giving people advice, or when people would ask me in the business, hey, when I'd be at a convention or something, and I was top 10 every year but one. They like, how did you do this? What'd you do? Like, you seem different than the other guys. You don't wear a suit. I never minded sharing, but I also knew, and I didn't like wasting my time really either, but I knew that maybe in a room if I had a room of 100 guys, 1 to 3 tops, 1 to 3 would actually take what I said to heart and try to implement some of it. And it's like, look, I struggled for 7 years. Do you want to struggle for 7 years? Or do you want to listen to me and tell you how you don't have to struggle for 7 years and what the most important parts are? What I learned about that, it's not just about how good a financial advisor you are. I recommend you be good. I recommend that you do know how to help structure people's investments and their financial life that works out best for them, for growth, for low taxes and that kind of stuff. But you have to learn how to get them in the door. You have to learn how to get them in the door. Because if it's a big name, if you work for a big name and that's what gets them in the door, guess who those people belong to? The big name, not you. And what if you want to move? What if you want to change? What if you want to go to a different company? Do you want them to come with you? If you've built that up over 10 years, you want to take those people with you? Fuck yeah, you do. You sure do. And the name won't matter if they hired you instead of the name. So you got to know how to market yourself. That's what it all comes. You can be a great cook. If you don't have anybody to cook for, you will be a restaurant owner who is broke. It's also about marketing. And in the restaurant business is just tough, period. A friend of mine who's in the business is actually closing his Mexican restaurant. And it was one of my all-time favorites. Maya's Fresh Mexican in Michigan. Phenomenal. He's a great chef. But I think through the pandemic and everything, and because of the other businesses that has doing really well, and this one being more of a struggle with the margins, more of a struggle with people and keeping staffed and things, it's like, why am I continuing to do this? I love it, but when your love just becomes more of a hobby and it's not putting money in your pocket, you got to reevaluate that shit, because that's whatever hours a day you could be spending growing the things that are making you more money. Now, God bless people. I truly believe this. God bless people. He posted a video of, I don't remember the chick's name, but she's really good at buying businesses and existing businesses and making money. And she said this, and I 100% agree. God bless the people that are psychotic and do open restaurants. Because then the time you have to work too, right? The time that it takes up in your life. Because what's prime time? I mean, unless you own like a breakfast place, but what's prime time? Night. You wanna work every night and weekends? That is kind of psychotic. That takes a special kind of person, but God bless that there is, because I love going to those places.
I've never really mind, because I was always one of those people that worked the weekends and like a lot of the nights, and it's just for me the way that it was really easy to kind of get away with that is you basically I mean it was always really refreshing being on the opposite schedule as everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I did go out to go do things and stuff like that, a lot of those places were empty, so I had a lot more space to myself. Like, oh, to me, it was very nice because again, you
Yeah,
get to avoid a lot of
if it fits your
traffic and
lifestyle,
stuff like that. So it was
100%,
I can see
100%.
the
But for me personally, and it's
mhm.
just me personally, because I think you're expressing your personal experience, and that's totally 100% accurate. But for me, then that means I'm not able to go to the Mercury games, at least not very often.
Yeah.
You know, it's on if a day off coincides with it,
Then you'd
or
be able to.
if I try to schedule my day off and went and ask for it and do that, and then it's only going to be occasional. You're going to get to one or two games. You're going to get to a baseball game. You're not going to get to games. You're going to get to a football game. You're not going to get to games because those are typically
During the night, yeah.
at the night or concerts. I love to do concerts, as everybody knows. You're just going to miss that kind of thing. And that's not important to some people. They don't do those things. If it's not important to you, if those nighttime activities are not important to you, then absolutely. It may be a fit to be the other way around, and it's good. That's why it's great that people have choices and people can choose for themselves, and we don't have a government that tells us what our work has to be. It is nice that we can make those choices for ourselves. And that's one of them. So Gavin Newsom, back to Gavin Newsom, he's been really out there since in Texas. In Texas right now, it may be over, but Texas this morning their Senate was voting to approve the redistricting, and then the governor can sign it.
Okay.
So what happened a few weeks ago, remember, is the Democrats in the House walked out of the special session, so they couldn't vote on it. The Senate voted on it, but both houses needed to approve it. That didn't happen. That session ended. Those people who left out of state came back. They were, kind of put on a lockdown so that we could do a second session again and do it again, but make sure that there was going to be a quorum there, enough people there, the minimum needed to be able to vote. And they made that happen, and that passed. Well, now the Senate has to pass it again. Them passing it the first time, with the way the rules are, it doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to do, and that will happen today. And so with all the threats that have been made to the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott, and the president by people like Gavin Newsom and other Democratic governors like the Illinois governor, even Shapiro in Pennsylvania, other people coming out. Despite all those threats, if you do this, if you cheat, we're going to cheat more. We're going to cheat again. We're going to join you. We're going to do this too. Well, that hasn't stopped them in Texas. It hasn't stopped Trump, and they're going forward with it. And so now it'll be up to California to see if they can get this on the ballot and then persuade the people in California that suspending their independent commission is a good idea. I don't know that they're going to do that. I think the vote is going to be a lot closer than people believe, but again, I could be wrong. What do I know? What I do know is Gavin Newsom and his social media staff has really been out there with the memes and trying to mock Trump. I'll give you an example of one. And I think I used it on X, but we don't have to go there right now. But I think I used it on X, where they posted a picture of a boat, and instead of Trump flags on the boat, it was Gavin Newsom 2028 flags and an American flag. And you know how you had the little Trump boat parades and stuff, which was funny as fuck. It was good, but it was real. It was real. It really happened. People did do that to their boats and their trucks, by the way. But here, the Democrats, what's funny about it is the Democrats have to use AI to make a fake picture. The Republicans didn't use fake pictures. Those were people that really did that stuff and really did it on their own and got those things together, got other boaters together and, had their little boat parades and stuff. And it'd be a good number of boats. It's not like 4 or 5. It'd be a good number. There might be 100 boats out there. It was pretty big that they would flood some areas and do that kind of thing. But when you're mocking us with fake stuff, it's I don't know if it's really effective. And I don't think it's effective, as I've said. I really don't think it's effective to be just only going after Trump and in the way he's going after Trump without including who he's really going to have to deal with and with no ideas. So here's the thing. We're supposed to be the violent ones because of January 6th. But everything points to the Democrats over and over again being the party of violence and the rhetoric that they've used. Now, I don't care. I honestly don't. If you want to use certain language towards me, I'm more than happy to use that language back. I do think there is some risk when you're an individual that is the governor of a big state like this, or you're somebody that people look to as a leader in the party, and you start making comments that are very threatening, where you're threatening someone with physical violence, where you're saying that, and that someone might take you up on that. I get that. But if that's what they want to do, that's fine. We'll fight that. If they really want to fight, if somebody really wants to fight me because of my hat, I've been waiting for it since Trump came down that fucking escalator. I've been waiting for it. Because that person doesn't know me. They're probably going to get the beating that 10 people should have gotten. Because it's been saved up. But this is just nuts. Somebody saying this. Play the video. He's on a podcast called The Siren. And I believe this came up yesterday. And listen to how he says the word damn again when you guys are listening. It's only 30 seconds, but listen for the word damn.
This is radical rigging of a midterm election. Radical rigging of an election. Destroying, vandalizing this democracy, the rule of law. So I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
Oh, amen to that. Thank you.
See, they just want to hear their side say punch him back because they're mad now. That's it. But I don't remember Republicans really doing this. I'm not saying it never happened or somebody never said anything maybe they shouldn't have said. But this is on a pretty regular basis. And if we wanted to right now, we could pull up at least 10 different people that have said other similar things. And I couldn't tell there. Did you think he said sons of bitches, or did he say, or son of bitches, or some bitches? You know how some people say some bitch, S-U-M?
I think he said sons of bitches is what I heard.
Let's hear it. Can we hear it again?
Definitely
Right
can.
there, yeah.
Damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
He does
Oh,
say
amen
sons
to
of
that.
bitches. Yeah, he does say sons of bitches.
Thank you.
This is
This dude, the way he said damn is so fucking weird. And then before he cusses now, all the time, he always has to apologize first or give it a prerequisite. If you hear me say damn or shit, you're just going to hear me say it. You're not going to hear me say, well, I'm sorry if this offends you, but I got to say it. Shit. Now, hey, the fuck is this shit? It's it's real. This just is. It's so fake saying the word damn. And how do you fake say the word damn? You have to put effort into that to say it in a fake way. Or it's just not natural to him. And when anybody ever says to you, with all due respect, guess what's coming next?
Some disrespect.
Some disrespect. With all due respect, but fuck you. That's with all due respect literally means fuck you. It's a nice way of saying fuck you, supposedly. Me? Yeah, I'm probably just going to say it. I don't have to prerequisite with anything. What did you think about his well, what do you think about people actually saying physical violent things like this versus saying it in a way that, how could he say it differently? We need to hit back where it hurts them the most. We need to hit back at the ballot box. We need to hit back with legislation that we can pass to counteract this. Do you see what I mean? I just used the word hit, but I didn't use the word hit in a way that it was a physical attack on another person.
I don't know if this is just me not being good at English, but it didn't seem like he was trying to say, "Hey, we're gonna punch these bitches in the mouth." It was more of like a, what do you call it? Like a what's that word? It's not when you're not taking the words one for one. It's more of a analogy.
Mm-hmm.
He's just kind of, isn't that like a saying that a lot of Americans say? Like, "Oh, we're gonna punch him in the mouth" or something. Like, we're gonna get back at him, kind of thing. I'm pretty sure Americans say that. I don't know.
No, I
really
don't disagree with you.
Especially the way he says it, it didn't seem.
But he's not trying to say it that way.
Is
what I bring and what most people take it as, that this is a way for him to say the words and then after say, "Oh, well, you weren't supposed to take it literally." Okay, but we're supposed to take everything that Trump says literally. That's what they tell us. It's just hypocritical. With this, I just feel like
I definitely agree that he doesn't seem like this is like a natural way of him speaking. Like, he doesn't talk like this,
right?
Like that for sure. That's the vibe I get off of this video. Is like they give him a script and we're like, "Hey, sit down, read this off, and then we're gonna have like a viral video or whatever." But to me, it didn't seem like, or at least that the "we're gonna punch the bitches in the mouth" part, it didn't sound very, or at least the way he said it didn't sound like a physical, like.
I think that's just because he's kind of a pussy.
I was about to say it might just be him. I'm not. I don't really keep up with Gavin Newsom, to be honest with you. I mean, I understand what's going on in California and all that fun stuff, but I could care less about Gavin Newsom. So I don't know what his body language is typically like. I don't know what the way he speaks. So I could be wrong. It didn't feel like Gavin Newsom came up with this. If
I agree with
that, it felt
that
like
too.
Someone handed him a script and was like, "Read this off."
They want somebody to say that. Look how excited that girl was that he used those words after he completed that sentence and said that. And I think it was 15, 20 years ago. It was a lot easier to say those words and not translate it to mean that somebody actually wanted somebody shot, stabbed, killed, punched.
Yeah, exactly.
That they meant it more as an analogy or metaphor or something like that you're referring to. What's changed is the temperature in the room.
Gotcha.
Is just at a point now where either side, anything can set either side off. And we weren't at that point. It wasn't boiling like it is now. And so that makes it saying those and knowing that and saying these things in this environment, you're doing it on purpose, knowing that it's probably not a good idea. And it was done for virality. It was done because
It
you
was
knew
definitely done for that
people like me were going to talk about it because you said it, and that we were going to debate about you saying the word "hit those sons of bitches in the mouth." Well, there are other people on social media, just regular people who are nobodies, that are making TikTok videos that are making physical threats, and they're hysterical and they mean it. That it's something they want to do or hope that other people do. And they literally say that, which is crazy that somebody else, when I was on TikTok last night and people responded to my video, it's funny that what me responding to somebody would get me. That is funny. Go up. That is what we think of him. But yeah, so they think doing that kind of stuff towards Trump is a winner for them, I guess. It's, yeah. That's just weird. I don't even remember that.
I'm pretty sure that might be fake. I don't think that's true.
No. I don't know. I take stuff like that now, snapshot it, and run it through Grok.
Yeah, no, that
to find out if it's real. All right, you can go to mine.
Your
My
profile.
No, you can go to my profile, see what I posted. Oh yeah, the voters. I wanted to talk about that. And you'll have to go to TikTok to see an actual video I made. There you go. There it is. So this is a video I posted yesterday, and this was surprising to learn yesterday. And these are real facts. And when it's facts that are coming from CNN or the New York Times that are not beneficial to the Democrats, you're like, whoa. Because obviously they're not friends of Trump or MAGA. So when they come out with something like this, it's a big deal. And they, along with some other analytical company, looked at voter registrations from 2020 to 2024.
Okay.
And you can play the video. Democrats are losing voters now in record numbers. That's according to the New York Times, looking into the registrations from 2020 to 2024. Record numbers. Democrats minus 2.1 million registrations. That's people actively changing their registration. That's a big deal. That's not just, hey, not going to the voting booth. That's, hey, I don't want to be a Democrat anymore. And the Republicans plus 2.4 million registrations. Again, not just people voting Republican, but people wanting to put this hat on and identify as a Republican. That's a 4.5 million net swing to the GOP. The red wave isn't coming. The red wave is already here. Do me a favor, if you like this, check out my podcast, the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. Do a search on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button for me. Join me on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 9 Arizona time as I go live. Thanks. Have a great day. So what do you think of the microphone? Is that okay? Democrats, okay.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. Like that. You can always
give a little bit better
like
sound,
in and
especially
out.
Because you're outside and stuff too.
Exactly.
The only thing is being outside at that time of the day, I could barely keep my eyes open.
With the sun in your eyes.
The sun's so fucking bright sometimes here. Literally, you can't walk anywhere. Sunglasses are mandatory in Arizona.
They really are.
Mandatory.
They really are.
Maybe not every day, but pretty much mandatory.
And then, sorry, I don't know. I honestly was busy looking at like the
Well,
microphone and stuff
yeah,
like that. I kind
I'm
of blanked
glad
out
you
for a
were.
second.
I'm glad you were.
So what exactly?
So
So
what happened over that period of time is 2.1 million people actively deregistered as Democrats. So when you go to register at your polling place,
mhm,
you can register as a Republican, you can register as a Democrat, you can also
Gotcha.
register as an independent.
gotcha.
Now, depending on the state, some states only allow the people who are members of the party to vote on who's going to represent the party. And some states, you know, have broader rules where anybody can. Or we've had times where people would switch. People wanted to change the election in a certain way. They never did it by much, but
Mhm.
it was done a little bit during Bernie Sanders period where maybe Republicans would go and change their registration and join the Democratic Party just so they could vote for Bernie to fuck up Hillary or something. Do you see
Gotcha.
what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
But basically what we're saying here is that this is a period of time over 4 years where, because if you don't want to vote Democrat, you
Mhm.
can just not vote Democrat. There's nothing that says, it doesn't matter what your party affiliation is, that makes you vote a certain way come voting day.
Yeah.
Whether it's primary or the actual voting day, you can vote all the same party, you can vote all the opposite party, you can vote mixed because you want to choose the best candidate. And really for local stuff, you don't even know what party somebody belongs to locally because it used to not really matter. They've made it matter more here lately,
Mhm.
over the last 10 years, but it used to not be that big of a deal. In cities, a little bit, but in your rural areas, it was just about take care of the roads, take care of the schools, take care of the parks, or what, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just basics. Do the basic shit. Who's going to do the basic shit and not line their own pockets or do some other bullshit or be making deals and stuff? So I guess what I'm saying is somebody that takes effort for somebody
Mhm.
to have to go change their registration when they don't have to. They could just say, "Hey, I'm not going to vote for the Democratic nominee this time, but I'm not going to change my registration. I'm going to vote independent. I'm going to vote Republican this time, whatever I'm going to do, but I'm not changing my registration." But for somebody to actually take it and maybe they don't, maybe that part of that 2.1 isn't part of the 2.4, or all of them aren't. Maybe it's they just, you know what, I'm done with both parties, but they went and changed their registration. That just takes an effort. And we have in this country, people are lazy to even vote. So don't you think they're even lazier to register to vote? Yes.
That's
The
fair.
biggest thing every election from both parties is pushing voter registration, right? Getting people registered. A big deal. And that's what Charlie Kirk did and was so good at, is he went and got new young Republican voters, actively went to those campuses to recruit people who it was going to be the first time they got to vote for president, because it's every 4 years, and get them to vote Republican and to get them registered as Republicans. And it made a big difference in the election. And like I said, I think Charlie Kirk is as big a reason for Trump winning as Elon Musk. He was that important. People just, and anybody who doesn't know, they just don't follow things that closely, or Republicans that closely. And most don't, but I do. I know the inner workings of that and what he actually did and how he evaluated the different areas. Now, Republicans, them adding 2.4 million, and again, some of them may have been switches, and some were, we know for a fact, a good majority of it were just brand new people who hadn't voted in the past. not just young voters, but 30, 40-year-old voters who just didn't want to mess with any of it. Fuck it. I can't change anything. My vote doesn't matter. They all suck. But they got them to register. And then they're going to be more likely to vote. Getting somebody to register and vote on the same day is super, super hard. Super hard. So it's way better to get more people registered. And in a lot of areas, Democrats outnumber Republicans based on registration. And if you look who represents that area, it's very rare for a party who has less registrations to actually represent that district.
Yeah.
It's just hard. It's rare. It can happen, but it's not super, super common.
Yeah.
And again, this is the New York Times that evaluated this. This is over the Biden era, which they keep telling us, oh, I wish we had Biden back, and he was one of the best presidents. And no, you didn't think he was one of the best presidents. You literally stabbed the old motherfucker in the back. He actually won. Yeah, he said he was only going to run once and then was going to give up the baton, but he decided to run. He did run. He got votes and delegates in the primary and became the nominee. Now, they didn't get to convention yet, where it's all made official. And before the convention, y'all stabbed the old fucking dude in the back. Not Republicans. We didn't stab him because we didn't care. There was no way for us to stab him. We couldn't stop the Democrat Party from nominating him. We couldn't stop them from nominating Kamala. But they nominated Kamala. Who decided on her? Who decided that? Because somebody had to decide it. Those are the powerful people. That's the question you want to ask. Who decided? Did Hillary have influence there? Did Obama have influence there? Remember, Obama didn't endorse her for a minute. He didn't endorse her right away. That's why they made a big deal and did a video when he called her on the cell phone, and they show her outside her SUV taking the call from Obama on him endorsing her. Because he didn't do it right away. Because like some other Democrats, they were thinking, hey, there was a lot of talk. Okay, we stabbed our leader in the back. Now what are we going to do? So the talk was, do we have some kind of shortened primary season? Do we have something and do it at the convention? That would have been an interesting convention if different factions brought in and fought over, who's going to represent the party. That would have been interesting. I would have watched that. That would have been cool shit for political stuff. You know what I mean? It'd have been cool. But they didn't do that. Somebody said, it's her. We're all going to get behind her. And you have to get behind her. Once we say you have to get behind her, you don't have a choice because she's a black woman and you can't oppose a black woman. It's not allowed in our party. Because if you do, you're going to look like a racist. So you can't do that. Or you're going to look like you hate women. And if you don't vote for her, because that's what they told the rest of us, or the independents, if you don't vote for her, you're not voting for her because she's a woman, because you're a misogynist. You're not voting for her because she's black and you don't like black people. That's why you're not voting for her. I think that almost every vote that people made, I really don't think in this case it was against her. Like, I'm going to vote for Trump because for the reason that I don't want to vote for her. And I don't want to vote for her specifically because she's black. I think race and gender had so little to do with it. It's just, she was bad. She's still bad. She has, her book. We talked about that a while ago. So her book coming. She's going to do a tour. It was just announced the cities she's going to travel to and speak at places where you're probably going to be able to get tickets, right? And hear her talk about how she lost. Because if you want to run in 2028, that's a brilliant thing to do. Go around and share with people how you were a loser.
Get some sympathy points up.
I know, maybe. It's so bad, man. Well, what it will be is scripted, and that's all she can do is scripted. That's it. Because she wouldn't have to do any of that. You don't think that if she wanted to go on today, if she wanted to go on Joe Rogan, that Joe Rogan would say what to her? It's too late. I don't want you now. Do you think Joe Rogan would say that?
Probably. I mean, he
You
has
do?
said that.
That he doesn't want her now?
I don't know if that was just because of
I didn't hear
the
that.
time frame of the election. Yeah, I remember when it first happened, he was actually upset that because they wanted to actually do the podcast a little bit time after, and he was like, no, like that time had already passed.
I don't know.
At this point in time, I'm not sure if he would or wouldn't. But,
yeah.
But back
well, what
then,
he
at
wouldn't
that
do
point in
then
time,
is he wouldn't go to her. You know, he
was
wouldn't go to
another
her.
That was another big
And he
thing,
wouldn't do
too.
that. But if she was willing, if she said, look, had her people call,
I don't see why he wouldn't.
because she is a potential, her name is out there. Her and Gavin Newsom are probably two of the top names. And then behind them, I would say Buttigieg and Shapiro. And most people don't know who Buttigieg and Shapiro are. And they probably know more who Buttigieg is than Shapiro. Because Shapiro's just a governor of Pennsylvania, where Buttigieg did run before. And so might have a small amount of name recognition, and then did serve in the administration of Joe Biden. So there could be a small amount. But the two biggest names right now have to be Gavin Newsom and still Kamala Harris. Has to be. And for her to be one of the two biggest names, even though it's 3.5 years away, I can't imagine Joe, because he wants to talk to interesting people. And why wouldn't he want to, like, ask questions about, doesn't your party seem rudderless now?
I was about to say, because I feel like
There's
like
really
they wouldn't answer the questions properly. I think that's another reason too, is that maybe even if you were to ask those questions, he probably wouldn't get a good
They
conversation.
might not,
out of it,
but they would look so bad not answering them because Joe wouldn't let go of it. He's not going to, I don't believe he would treat her like a dick. I don't believe that at all. Not then and not now. But I think there are some interesting questions now, and I think that's what I'm saying, that he'd want that. He'd want to ask the question for his own curiosity. Is he curious?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with what you say, but I don't know, because a lot of people would kind of like a before the podcasting, where like, is there anything you don't want us to bring up,
Right.
or et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they might just.
Oh, he wouldn't do it on that basis.
Well,
everything has to be on the table.
And that's probably why.
But I'm saying, if she really wants to, if she would agree to come there and answer any question and sit down for no less than an hour to an hour and a half, and maybe as long as 2 or 3 hours, and just let it rip, I think he would. It would be. I'm just saying, it would be so much smarter for her to do that.
Yeah.
Than the book tour. More people are going to see you. If you really want to revive yourself, that's the way that you do it. And you're also going to have to answer the question is, why wouldn't you do this before? This is all I wanted. I didn't want to treat you bad. I just wanted to find out who you were. I didn't know enough about you. Why you seem, much different. Why did you come and show us this person before? You're going to have to answer that question. But she should have to answer that question. If she wants to be president of the United States, and I don't think she's capable of being the president of the United States, she's not good under the current environment and what you have to do to express that to people. But it would be, if you want to sell books, if you want to run again, your little book tour's stupid. You should be going on podcasts, and the first one you should be going on is Joe Rogan's. And if for some reason you can't work it out with Joe, you're telling me you can't work it out with Megyn Kelly? You can't work it out with the Neck Boys or whatever? You know what I mean? You tell me somebody wouldn't take her.
I'm about to say, yeah, someone would.
Someone would, but not. I'm not talking about a liberal podcaster. I'm talking about a conservative podcaster. because you already did the liberal thing. That didn't work because of the whole manufactured setup, because of what you just described, that it wasn't authentic. And people are like, we don't care. That does nothing for us. It just it'd be smarter, but I don't know. I think it is a big deal, though, and it's especially a big deal when, again, the voting numbers that I'm giving you in the story comes from the New York Times. That the New York Times, who has no love for Donald Trump, they're trying to wake up some of the Democrats. And y'all are going the wrong direction, and you're still going the wrong direction. And here's proof that you're going the wrong direction. That people are abandoning your party by literally changing their registration to either independent or Republican or nothing, changing to nothing. But they don't want to be registered as a Democrat anymore. So you've lost them for a minute, maybe longer than a minute. Because those people just made that choice. They want to be reaffirmed that they made the right choice. They're not looking to change their mind right now. But you want to stop the bleeding. 2.4 million new registrations for the Republican Party. And elections have come down to 50,000 or 100,000 here and there, right? It's a few swing states and some tens of thousands of votes. So they all matter. So somebody's trying to sometimes wake them up, and they're not listening. They're not listening to Bill Maher. They're not listening to Stephen A. Smith, the guys who are trying to actually help them, who are liberals, who voted for them, but are also saying that this isn't working. These tactics aren't working. Last, very quick, the Trump Award. Donald Trump, yeah, that penalty right there. So for those that don't remember, Letitia James, Attorney General in New York, got elected and ran on the fact that she was going to go after Donald Trump. That he must have done a crime. She didn't know what crime, but she was going to go looking for one. And they made one up. They said he defrauded some banks. The banks didn't say that in the trial. It was a terrible, excuse me, and I'm all kinds of burps this morning. But the judge was absolutely terrible. And I didn't think it would last, but they made it hard on him. He had to put up, I don't know, $300 and some million. He had to put up. Is that what he had to put up? Well, that was that's the original judgment. And then now with fines or interest, it's gone to that. I'm talking where he had to put up like bail money almost, where he had to put up collateral or do something of the like.
Bond appeal?
What's that?
The bond appeal?
Yeah.
454.2 mil.
To appeal the judgment. But yeah, the amount that he had to put up wasn't that. It was more like around 300 or something. Or there you go, 175 million. Bond. Well, now he'll be able to get that back. But yeah, we knew this wasn't gonna fly. You cannot say someone committed fraud when the people that loaned him the money said they got paid back with interest and would loan him money again. Nobody complained. Nobody was hurt. He valued some of his properties higher than what the government did or what even the banks did. You know, oftentimes you're going to think, if you right now, you might have an idea in mind of what you think this house is worth. And it might be true, or you could be off 20 to 30,000 or more in either direction. The only way is somebody else is going to have an opinion and the bank is going to have an opinion. And then they make their best guess by looking at similar properties in the area, right? They have ways of doing this. They just don't take your word for it, right? They check it out themselves. That's what these banks did before they loaned Trump the money. They checked it out, figured what they thought it was worth. There's a negotiation that takes place. And then there's a negotiation on the interest rate. There's nothing that happens every day. But then they tried to use some crazy law that never had been used in this case to find him guilty of fraud that just did not exist. Again, hate Trump all you want, but find him guilty of something that he actually did. Don't make shit up. And this was just making shit up. And it was looking for something before. It's usually, oh, look, this person got killed. We need to find out who the killer is. You can't go, oh, I think this guy is a killer. Now we're going to investigate to see if he's killed anyone. It doesn't work like that. The crime has to happen first. And then you find out who did it. Was the total thing. So these were the appeals court in New York isn't your typical appeals court necessarily. Mm-hmm. Like you would think of the federal appeals. This was state because she's the state AG. And what they're calling this in New York, the New York appeals court, is actually their Supreme Court, which is dominated by, guess what? Democratic appointed judges. So Democratic appointed judges that when push came to shove said, yeah, you can't do this. You can't do this to anybody. So again, this isn't like Trump appointed judges letting him off the hook. It's not what happened. These are liberal judges in New York that said, yeah, no, this is totally crazy. So another big win. I knew they would be upset about that yesterday. So the dude just keeps winning, and they don't know what to do with it. That's it. That's it on a Friday. There's our politics, wrapping it up for the week. For you all, we appreciate you. We need you to, help out, make comments, tell us what direction you want to go. We've been doing some reaction videos. Check those out. We can comment on those. What about the interview that we did? Is that up now yet?
The most recent one has not gone up yet.
Was that on the slate here real soon?
Yeah, I do have to talk to you about that, but
okay.
But it is technically pretty much done.
Okay,
but I do need to talk. But I do need to talk.
We
to
have
you
business.
About it,
we have business first. We'll do that. And how about this? Nikki, that we interviewed, mm-hmm. She got an invite where I think she might be able to meet the president.
Oh, wow.
And talk to him about education like we were talking about.
That's really dope.
Isn't it, though?
That's really dope.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. Because it's just a total different narrative of what people say. This is somebody who's out there actually making a difference like she is for mm-hmm. kids with special needs. And now you have people saying, oh, because we got rid of the Department of Education, Trump hates special needs kids. No. He just wants to direct the money in a different way that's actually going to work and get there and not be for promoting DEI or some other shit that they were using the money for, to actually go for education, to improve the education, and to do that on a more direct and local level, because the federal government wasn't adding or making our education better. That's all it simply was. But yeah, for her, yeah, she sent me a copy of it. She was all excited about it. That's cool. So that's what made me think about that and getting there. So yeah, we're trying to add some interviews. Check them out when we do those. We'll let you know. And just much love and appreciation, folks. Hit that subscribe button for me. This is the Outlaw Apostle Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Neff. I'm the fucking guy.